Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another episode of Sea Salt Snippets. Today for you guys, we've got some saucy topics to talk about, so without further ado, let's just dive straight into it. First off for today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and Kingdom Hearts. Quite an interesting mix, but I know that for quite some time, a lot of people have actually wanted this character to be included into Kingdom Hearts, and for good reason. In case you guys don't know, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is quite an important Disney character, as he has quite a bit of history behind him. He was originally meant to be the Mickey Mouse, yes, the mascot and the face of the Disney brand, up until Walt Disney ended up having some relationship issues with a fellow colleague around the early stages of the Walt Disney Company. Due to these issues, the rights to that of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit were actually taken away from Walt Disney, and instead, Walt actually had to come up with an entirely new character, which obviously ended up being the Big Mouse himself. Now, of this day and age, Disney do own the rights to that of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and if Disney as well as Square Enix really wanted to put Oswald into Kingdom Hearts, it could definitely happen. Now, we do actually have some interesting information from Tetsuya Nomura when talking about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and Kingdom Hearts 3. This information is coming out of the Telegraph interview between Tetsuya Nomura and The Telegraph, and during this interview they actually got onto the topic about certain contents in Kingdom Hearts titles that perhaps maybe in the past have been rejected by that of Disney. Now, this is what Tetsuya Nomura had to say about exactly this. He mentioned no titles have actually been rejected so far. It's not really a title or film, but I did ask to see if Oswald was possible, but the answer we received from Disney was that it would be difficult to do. I didn't receive any details as to why. So it's definitely interesting that he specifically brings up Oswald within this information. Now, obviously Oswald isn't going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, hence the reason Tetsuya Nomura brought it up in this conversation. The question here is, why exactly did Disney deny the concept of actually putting Oswald into Kingdom Hearts? That's what I'm pretty curious to know about. Now, like I mentioned, Disney do have the rights to that of Oswald, and like I said, if Disney really did want Oswald to be in Kingdom Hearts, they could definitely give the big old green tick to that of Square Enix to say, yes, put this dude in the game. Perhaps Disney are a little bit finicky and quite touchy with that of actually using Oswald in other properties, and specifically that of a video game property, but then again, he was featured in that of, say, Epic Mickey's, so I really can't see the problem of putting him into a game like Kingdom Hearts. And honestly, I think the idea of actually putting Oswald into Kingdom Hearts would work really well. He could actually have some kind of really cool connection with that of Mickey, where he could act as some kind of royal guard, or maybe some kind of brotherly royal guard. He could also fit the villain role really well too, acting as a kind of shadow to that of Mickey, maybe acting as maybe Mickey's Heartless or Nobody. There is certainly a lot that Square Enix could do with this character, so it is a little bit unfortunate that Disney denied this concept from actually happening. Next up, a media outlet that goes by the name of Multiplayer ended up interviewing Tetsuya Nomura at E3, and they ended up actually asking Nomura if he's actually worried about showing off too much content before Kingdom Hearts 3 actually releases. Now, I've seen this sort of worry about this quite a lot around specifically my community, as well as different Kingdom Hearts forums and whatnot, but I think as of right now, like where we currently are, we have seen a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3, or at least I feel as if we've seen a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3. Like currently on the internet, you can find, as of right now, probably about 1 hour's worth of footage, if you're including like all of the demo footage as well. You can find a lot of stuff to do with Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's kind of a strange feeling when you compare where we currently are as of right now to where we were, you know, say early 2015, where we were literally scrounging for anything to do with this game. But I thought the reply to this question was actually quite interesting. So Multiplayer asked, the E3 trailers have shown off many characters and worlds, from a dark version of Aqua to Riku Replica, through the worlds of Frozen and Port Royal, and even the Ratatouille minigame. Are you worried about showing off too much before the game comes out? Nomura said, I assure you that there are still many surprises waiting for the fans, and I am not just referring to the worlds that we haven't shown yet. The E3 trailers have only shown small samples of what the players will encounter during their adventures. we haven't explored any of these characters and worlds in depth. Rather, what we have revealed is simply enough to provoke the imagination and curiosity of the fans. We will reveal a little more detail about some of these in upcoming announcements, but there will also be things that we will keep secret until the very end so that the players can look forward to discovering them for themselves. Though I can tell you that a lot of the characters that have appeared in the past titles will return, and there are even a few we haven't shown yet. We've also kept secret a few really important characters that will leave the fans speechless. I'm sure a lot of people will be more surprised by the trailers we're going to show in the following months than the ones we've shown so far. What Tetsuya Nomura is saying right here is he isn't really particularly worried about showing off too much content, and apparently from the stuff that we've seen, specifically when looking towards the E3 trailers, both Port Royal as well as the Frozen stuff, apparently that's only, from what he's saying here, scraping the surface enough to obviously provoke the imagination, and that to me is just like insane. Like, at this point, I feel like I've just seen so much Kingdom Hearts 3, but with getting all of these descriptions and information about how big these worlds are and just how much content is packed into this game, I am thoroughly convinced that with what we've seen so far is only a small slice of what Kingdom Hearts 3 actually is. Now, we mentioned here that there are still some characters to reveal with upcoming trailers, and yes, that would be correct. There still are some characters that we are sort of missing. Now, these characters would definitely be the sort of remainder of the Seekers of Darkness. With what Tetsuya Nomura has said over the past sort of 3 months, it would seem clear that he is going to be revealing all of the Seekers of Darkness leading up to the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. So it seems likely that by the time of the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, we will know all of the Seekers of Darkness. Now, of course, there are other characters like Final Fantasy characters too. I'm sure that there will be a trailer at some point that will show us some Final Fantasy characters. Apparently, Tetsuya Nomura isn't really too dead set on introducing some newer Final Fantasy characters into Kingdom Hearts 3, so I would say just really expect the ones that we've already seen in the past, you know, like Aerith, Cloud, Sephiroth, Cid, Yuffie, etc, etc. But he mentioned right here that apparently there are a few secret characters that are apparently going to leave the fans speechless, and personally I feel as if he is referring to that of the whole Roxas thing, as well as the whole Xion thing. Like, Xion is a huge deal when it comes to the Kingdom Hearts community, and so I think that Nomura knows the sort of hype and the anticipation behind sort of bringing Xion back. Who knows if that's actually going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3, but one way or another I'm sure that she will show up in some shape or form. However, I think the sauciest part of this paragraph right here is when Nomura mentions that apparently the trailers coming in the next few months are going to be a lot more substantial in the ways of content compared to the trailers we've seen so far. But Nomura, you're gonna give me a cardiac arrest, dude. Okay, no, seriously, man. Like, if you think about everything we've seen so far for Kingdom Hearts 3, apparently what we're gonna be seeing in the next few months is going to be juicier than that. That just blows me away, man. I know that we're definitely in for seeing, obviously, Big Hero 6, but I think other than that, everything else is just going to be sort of just a complete wild card. I'm really looking forward to seeing what other kind of secrets and cool stuff, you know, Square Enix have to show off for Kingdom Hearts 3. Obviously, we still have some original worlds to see, and from the sounds of it, there's probably a couple more Disney worlds. Obviously, more on gummy ships would be nice, a little bit more on combats, a little bit more on some characters. But otherwise, man, I just can't wait for these next few months. Give it to me. Alright, and last up for today, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, seeing as it's been a hot minute since we last talked about this game. And that's really for good reason, mainly because it's a damn Sahara Desert out here, my dude. Like, if you're looking for anything to do with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, ha! You're hot out of luck. Yeah, the sort of home front towards anything to do with the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been very, very dry. Like, there's been literally nothing going on. The last sort of news scoop we got towards the Final Fantasy VII Remake was back in June, during the time of the Kingdom Hearts 3 madness. A lot of different people who were interviewing Tetsuya Nomura actually asked him about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, obviously because, you know, we're eager to find out more about this game. From the seams of it, due to like all of the dramas that Square Enix, as well as their partner company that were actually working with them to develop the Final Fantasy VII Remake, CyberConnect 2, ended up having a bit of a dispute, And now, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is being developed completely in-house, meaning 100% by Square Enix and only Square Enix. So due to these dramas, it's caused a bit of a setback towards the development side of things with this game, which is, you know, the best news at the end of the day, because it kind of seems as if the Final Fantasy VII Remake is sort of going through development hell, but we have a slight bit of an update, so let's read about this. This information is coming from both Famitsu as well as IGN. Let's first and foremostly read the Famitsu slice. So Famitsu asked, if it's okay, we would like to ask a bit about some other titles. How is development on the Final Fantasy VII Remake going? Nomura said, we're currently trying to plan when to release the next wave of information. We had already pretty much decided when that would be from when we switched to in-house development, which is coming along smoothly. In regards to scenario, we are really trying to capture the feel of the original and beginning with the members of Avalanche. We are really trying to dive deep into each and every character. It's actually progressing a lot more than you'd think, so please rest assured and wait for future announcements. Now switching over to IGN's information, they pretty much asked the same thing, what's currently going on with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this is what Nomura said. It's not just in the early concept stages, we are actually in development. So right now I've been putting 100% into Kingdom Hearts and 100% into Final Fantasy VII, and 100% into Kingdom Hearts, and going back and forth. So according to Tetsuya Nomura from both news snippets, it seems to be that development is going apparently smoothly for that of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that, according to the IGN snippet, apparently the game isn't just in the early concept stages, but is rather in full development, which is a really good thing to hear, especially when there's been a lot of talk about this game being stuck in development hell with all of the recent CyberConnect 2 dramas. But as Tetsuya Nomura said, because he is the head director for both Kingdom Hearts 3 as well as the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it means that he is constantly having to go back and forth between both projects, which I can only imagine would be absolutely freaking chaotic. Now, who knows if we're really going to be seeing any more of the Final Fantasy VII Remake before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. I think if there's any chance of seeing FF7 Remake this year, it'll either be at the PlayStation Experience, or perhaps maybe, just maybe at the Tokyo Game Show very soon. But otherwise, I really do think that the Final Fantasy VII Remake, everything to do with it, development, more promotion, advertisement, all that kind of stuff will definitely pick up tenfold once Kingdom Hearts 3 is completely done. That way Tetsuya Nomura can direct 100% of his focus entirely into the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, and I'm sure that a lot of the staff working on Kingdom Hearts 3 will also end up transitioning over to this project too. But anyway guys, with all that being said, that's pretty much going to do it for today's episode of Sea Salt Snippets in the comment section down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. However guys, I'm Cynical, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.